Too many of today's Christians are spiritually blind and forget the power of God. Before we begin, please hit that subscribe button down below so you can continue on your developing discipleship journey. The more subscribers we have, the more we can grow a big community of followers of Jesus Christ. Now, on to the miracles. Throughout my life, I have asked myself these same types of questions. Why are so many faithful Christians unfaithful when we need it most? When we're in the darkest abyss, in the epitomes of despair, it can be so easy to let go of our Christ-centered hope and faith. But that's exactly when we need it. Losing belief in miracles and losing belief that God really does love us enough to help us almost makes life too hard to bear. But there are some who also take the miracles that God gives and say if you don't receive them, or if you don't receive them in this box, that you're the problem. You're the sinner, and you are the reason God doesn't love you, which is obviously not true. But we can find a fantastic example of this when we're reading about the life of Jesus Christ in the New Testament. As Jesus was teaching one day, he comes across a man who's been blind since birth. Now, this man being physically blind can be likened to us being spiritually blind. Back in Jesus' time, there wasn't a lot of help for someone who was blind, especially since the day they were born. But Jesus Christ, having love and compassion for this man, goes to him. And as Jesus draws near to this man, his crowd around him asks him, who sinned that this person is born blind? And that is the first mistake that us Christians today make, that make us spiritually blind. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't sins that keep us from the mercy of God, and there aren't sins that keep us from receiving miracles, because it's true. Lacking faith and not believing will definitely not lead to more miracles from our Savior. That being said, there are many faithful Christians, disciples of Jesus Christ, who actively believe that if someone has sinned or appears to be sinful, then they are less deserving of blessings than themselves. This spiritual blindness that we see the faults of others and not our own can often lead us to feelings of envy and pride, thoughts and feelings that would put us at an adverse position with the love of Jesus Christ. When we look upon other people, our first thought isn't to be, wow, they have sinned so much that their life has turned terrible. No, just like Jesus Christ, we should have compassion on them. And as we continue the story, he goes up to this man, this blind man, and he doesn't just walk past him, but he spits on the ground, he makes a little clay, and he puts it on his eyes. Something seemingly so random, yet so simple. And then he tells him to go wash in a pool. Jesus Christ starts the miracle by doing something for this man. Something seemingly so incomprehensible, simple, and strange that no one around could understand what Jesus is really doing. And even in our day, we have miracles that sometimes we don't see right away. We have miracles that happen months, years in the future and are starting to be made this very day. But then Jesus does something that we have to remember. He tells this man to go wash in the pool. He tells him to have a little faith. Now, he may not say, hey, you need to have faith in order to be healed, but he tells him to go move, and the guy does it. His act of faith to go wash, despite not being able to see Jesus, ultimately leads him to being healed. His eyes are made clean, and he can finally see. The ending of the story leads to him being questioned by Pharisees, but ultimately we learn from the story that miracles are a part of our lives, that Jesus can do all things, and we can do all things through him. Little acts of faith create a huge impact that can change our lives forever. Miracles come by faith, and Jesus is a God of miracles. I encourage you to search out miracles that you've seen in your life or in others. Things that you can't quite explain with logic or math. And even if you could, remember the love that Jesus Christ has for you. The reason that these miracles are given to us in the first place. I'd be willing to bet that there are many of us, including myself, who have missed miracles and opportunities to thank God because we just didn't see them. Because these seeming coincidences were just that. They seemed like a coincidence, something that didn't really matter. When the reality is, that was God's hand intervening in our life. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that subscribe button down below if you did, and like this video so more people can see it. And as always, have a great week and happy developing as a disciple.